Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Here we go. Having some fun with math. Let's go. Um, all kidding aside, here we go. We're going to move into the last type of equation for a line called standard form. We still have 4 lessons left, but this is the last form of a line. It's called standard form. So here we go. Standard form is a weird one because of something that happens. Here's the form: ax plus by equals c. Notice where x and y are in relation to the equal sign. They're on the same side of the equal sign. Where were they in slope-intercept and point-slope forms? They were on opposite sides. That is a big change. Now, you also have these big A, B, and C's. I didn't write this down, but those are just numbers. So you'll see it. Actually, you can see it on the screen right now. Number 1 down there, 6x plus 4y equals 20. A is 6, B is 4, C is 20. So those are just numbers, okay? So you will be given those. You will have to find those. X and Y are your variables. They're on the same side of the equal sign as opposed to opposite sides like they have been in the other 2 forms. One thing I do want you to notice, you cannot look at this equation and find slope. As in the past, you could look at the number in front of x and say, oh, the slope is the number in front of x. You cannot do that here. You got to do some work to find slope, and that's what we're going to do with topic number 1. Finding the slope in standard form. So this is in standard form. 6x plus 4y equals 20. The x and y are on the same side of the equal sign. How do I find slope? Well, I've got to get x and y on opposite sides of the equal sign. And we want to get y by itself. So when I say find the slope, what I'm saying is get y by itself. Now, when I say that, what am I doing? I'm putting it in y equals mx plus b form. And you will see that magically appear when we get y by itself. So here we go. How do I get y by itself? I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. 20 and 6x cannot go together. 20 doesn't have an x. So I'm going to write the x first. So negative 6x. 20 is positive, so I'm going to put plus 20. And then I'm going to divide by 4. And I'm going to divide by 4. And I'm going to divide by 4. I divide everything by the number in front of y. And what that gives me is y equals negative 6 divided by 4 is a fraction, and it reduces to negative 3 over 2. And then 20 divided by 4 is 5. Look what I have. Y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 5. That should look really, really familiar. That's slope-intercept form. So then what's the slope? It's negative 3 over 2. Notice negative 3 over 2 was not in the standard equation or standard form of the equation. You cannot just look at it and say, oh, it's negative 3 over 2. You got to do some work. Okay, let's do the next one. Subtract x. Again, we want to get y by itself. I don't want to get x by itself. I want to get y by itself. So that's negative 1x. So if you want to put the 1, you can. I'm not going to at this point, but you could put negative 1x and then divide everything by 3. Get y equals negative 1/3 x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. The slope here is negative 1/3. Last one has a little bit of a trickiness to it because of that negative y. So watch what happens here. I'm going to subtract 2x. You should notice the theme here. Subtract the x. Then it's negative y equals negative 2x. 7 is positive. I got to get rid of that negative, though. How do I do that? I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. And when I do that, I get y equals negative 2 divided by negative 1 is positive 2. 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7. So my slope here is 2. Okay, so we did the same thing. Subtract the x term, divide by the number in front of y. That's finding the slope or putting the equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so if standard form is not helpful for finding slope, what is it good for? Okay, that's what we're going to look at next. This equation is good for finding the x and y intercepts. So the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now, one of those you should know about. We've talked about used the y-intercept. So if you understand what the y-intercept is, you can probably figure out what an x-intercept is. So y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, and x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. Okay. Now, there are some things about a y-intercept and an x-intercept that you should see. Let's just say that's 2 and that's 3. Okay. Those coordinates for the y-intercept are 0, +2. The coordinates for the x-intercept are 3, 0. Draw another line real quick. The y-intercept here is 0, -2. The x-intercept here is -4, 0. There are some things that happen at every single y-intercept, and that would be the y-intercept has coordinates that always start with 0, and then it's the y value. The y value is going to change. The 0 is always there. And x-intercept, the x value is going to change, and the 0 is always going to be for y. With this information, which is very important, we can figure out the intercepts very quickly from the standard form of an equation. And that's what we're going to do here at the bottom. Topic number 2, finding the intercepts. So we're going to find the x and y intercept for each equation. I'm going to do number 1 very slowly, and then we're going to show you how you can do it much quicker. All right. So the x-intercept, as long as we see that with the x-intercept, that's this one right here, we know that y equals 0. And because of that, I can take 0 and plug it in for y. So 4x plus 9 times 0 equals 36. Well, what's 9 times 0, though? That's 0. Well, what's 4x plus 0 then? Well, it's just 4x. And now I have 4x equals 36. I can divide by 4, and I get my x-intercept is 9. Okay, and watch what happens when I do the y-intercept. Well, if I understand that the y-intercept has x equals 0, can help me out. I'm going to put 0 in for x. All right, and 4 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 9y is 9y. 9y equals 36. Divided by 9, I get the y-intercept is 4. Now, I want you to see it's not the point 9,4. That's not what we just found. We found 2 separate points. So I'm going to erase this so you can see it a little bit better. I don't want to erase everything, so I'm just going to get rid of that and this. Okay. We just found the point 9, 0. Oh, wait, let me change colors here. 9, 0, right? We just found the point 9, 0. That's the x-intercept, because the x-intercept always has 0 for the y-coordinate. And for the y-intercept, 0 is always the x-coordinate, and the y-coordinate is 4. That's what we just did. We found the x and y intercepts. Now we can do it a little quicker. So if we understand that the x-intercept is where y equals 0, we can just cross out everything with y. And what's left? I see 5x equals -60. Divide by 5, I get x equals -12. The x-intercept is -12. Now, I do want you to see real quick, -12 did not show up in the equation. A lot of people think, oh, look, I can just look at it and say the x-intercept is 5 and the y-intercept is -4. Those are not the intercepts. You have to divide by those numbers to get the intercept. So the x-intercept is -12. So that would be the point -12, 0. The y-intercept is, if you understand that the x value is 0, I can cross out x. With the y-intercept, make sure you look at the sign. So it's -4y equals -60. Divide by -4, I get y-intercept is +15. which is the 0.015. Okay, you can go very quickly with this. Last one, x-intercept, cross out the y. Gives me 3x equals 9. Divide by 3, I get x equals 3, which is the 0.30. Okay. Now let's do the y-intercept. Cross out the x. I have negative y equals 9. I do have to divide by -1 here. So the y-intercept is -9. So 0, -9. All right, so those are finding the intercepts. Why do we do that? What good is that? Doesn't seem like we get much information from it. Well, we can use those to graph lines that are in standard form. So pretty easy steps here. Find the x and y-intercept like we just did. Like I told you, we have those 2 points. So we plot each point on the graph. And the nice thing is, if you have 2 points, you can make a line. So you can draw your line once you have those 2 points. So let's do it real quick. X-intercept. Cross out the y, right? 6x equals 12. X equals 2, which is the 0.20. Y-intercept. Cross out the x. 2y equals 12, y equals 6. So the y-intercept is 6. That is the 0.06. So 0.6 is right here. 20 is right here. And then I can draw the line between those 2 points. See how much quicker that was? Okay. Could you move this and put it in slope-intercept form and graph it that way? Sure, you could, but that's more work. It's just another way to graph, another way to accomplish the same task with different information. That's the key thing. We're given different information, and how do we use that information to accomplish the task? Let's do it again. So x-intercept, cover up y or cancel y. I'm going to not cross it out this time. I'm going to show you that you can do it without it. I'm going to mentally cross it out. So I have 8x equals 24, x equals 3, which is the 0.30. I'm going to go ahead and plot it. 30 is down here. I'm going to switch to blue. The y-intercept, mentally crossing out x. I have -4y equals 24. Divide by -4, I get y equals -6. That's the 0.0, -6. Oh, that's 5. Yeah, that's only 5. And then draw your line. Okay. Pretty simple, right? Hopefully you caught that is pretty simple. With practice, it becomes very simple. Now I'm going to put it all together. I just referenced, you have all these different forms. You have to understand what each form is good for and what each form is not good for. So putting it all together, find the slope, x-intercept, and y-intercept. I want all that information from that equation. Now, 2 of them should be very easy to find. It's in standard form. Which form is good for finding the x-intercept? That's this one. So down at the bottom, I'm going to answer that first. I can also find the y-intercept very easily using standard. But I can also find the y-intercept very easily in slope-intercept, because it's y equals mx plus b. And if you have b, the y-intercept is b, right? So either one is okay to find the y-intercept. Slope, you have to have slope-intercept form. I guess you could have point slope form, but we're not transforming anything into point slope form. So it's already in standard form. So let's take care of the 2 that are easy to find using standard form. So let's go find the x-intercept and y-intercept before we move it. So the x-intercept, divide by 2, I get the x-intercept is 14. The y-intercept, I got -4y equals 28. The y-intercept is -7. The slope, got to do the work like we did in topic 1. got to move the x. I get negative 4y equals negative 2x plus 28. Divide by negative 4. Negative divided by negative is positive. 2 divided by 4 is 1/2. So I get positive 1/2. 28 divided by negative 4 is negative 7. And look, just real quick, negative 7 matches the y-intercept that we found using standard. Just so point that out, right? They both give you negative 7. And the slope here is 1/2. Okay, so that's the first lesson we're doing on standard form. We're going to take a look at some issues with standard form in the next lesson and then what to do about it.